What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. So I'm in a cave right now. I just found one of these really cool permafrost caves, and I realized a few things. A, I want to get a lot of this permafrost, but B, my pickaxe probably isn't going to survive a lot of it. So I've been exploring and killing stuff and spelunking, and I'm trying to find that hammer template, and I haven't had any luck, which is alright. Considering that I have found a good bit of other stuff. So I happen to have everything I need to make one of these tomes of knowledge, and I'd like to prevent losing my stuff if at all possible. So we can get one of these, and fun fact, it can be combined with our Akashic Tome. We can get our Tome of Knowledge, and then when we right-click on it, it'll take away levels, and if we shift right-click, it'll give back levels. So the reason I care is because I was all the way up to 27, which is quite a lot, and I don't want to lose them. So between not wanting to lose them and the fact that I want to be efficient when I repair this pick, because it's going to take just a couple of levels, see, I can take just as much as I need and move on with my life. So I almost got squashed by this anvil in one of the biome bundle trap rooms. But as you can see, my inventory is pretty much just mass chaos right now. I've got a lot of stuff that I just need to kind of go through. But I've got a lot of good stuff to report back on once we do get home and settled and stuff. So just going to keep on kind of exploring and spelunking right now. But stay tuned. I do plan on getting a couple of other things done before I get back. And hopefully that hammerhead will be one of them. So I found this really crazy thing. I don't understand. This is crazy. I don't know what this is. I mean, obviously it's from Astral Sorcery, but whatever it is. This is really neat, and also, like, kind of frightening at the same time. Because it's just giving us vanilla ores. Which is weird, but cool. I guess I'm just gonna mess with this until, like, the energy runs out or whatever. I don't know. Because I could definitely use whatever help I can get. Alright, so it did eventually break. Still, pretty freaking cool. One last thing, I was just playing with the glass cutter, which I made to silk touch glass without having silk touch. It works on the lamps. That's pretty great. So I'm going to snag the prismarine lamps, or the sea lanterns, because I really like how they look. They're just a very simple, clean light. So, yeah, definitely useful little tidbit you might want to know. Alright, so we finally have made it back. Oh, I wanted to talk about some stuff that I did off camera. Not much. I filled in the lake, or pond, or whatever you want to call this, and I also did this. So, you might be wondering why I would do something as horrendous as this, and it's so that I can talk about the actual, in real life mechanics of coke ovens, which is that they usually, since they get so hot, need to be kind of like, I don't know, almost smothered. They're usually built into big old dirt hills and like dirt piles or mud piles like this. So this is actually relatively similar to what they would actually look like in real life. So cool stuff. I definitely kind of want to give the sea lantern a try now, just to see what it looks like. Especially because I know I can get it back, so if something doesn't go the way I planned, then so be it. But I usually tend to like that contrast against spruce pretty well. Yeah, see, that looks nice. So, aside from having a lot of stuff in my inventories here, don't mind that. Once I get my inventory kind of cleaned up here, I want to work on some enchanting. So that's why I went out and got lapis. I went and got the hand pick and picked up a lot of lapis, believe me. So even though we have our power set up ready to go, we don't actually really need it yet, and that's okay. We'll come back to the idea of using it in the future, near future, FYI, but definitely some stuff that we need to get done before then, I feel, because honestly, a lot of the things that we would want to use the power on are going to require materials that I don't have the patience for mining right now with the slow tools that we have. And with the fact that on top of the slow tools, we also have to consider the idea that some things we're going to want more yield of, and we're going to want to kind of make sure that we've optimized a decent bit of that. So long and short of it, I think it's just kind of best worth it if we waited and did things right. So, with that being said, let me drop this off. Oh, I already had Ward? Really? Great. I wasted an inventory slot for nothing. I have picked up a lot of books, as you can see, and we're going to want some of these for bookshelves. So let's grab some scrap wood and planks and stuff. 16, that'll work for me. We can just go ahead and turn this all into various planks. Make ourselves a bookshelf recipe. We'll mix up these a little bit. We'll go ahead and make 15 if I can. Exactly 15. Perfect. That couldn't have been any better planned if I had tried. I also had happened to come across some obsidian, which is great. That way I don't have to go mine it myself. And exactly 2 diamonds, which is also great. The loot is definitely not ideal if I wanted to make this a perfectly hardcore pack, but I don't actually care about it being 100% like, you know, do it my way or nothing at all kind of thing. I don't really care if you happen to find something along the sides, like the astral sorcery thing we found. Like, I'm not going to be upset about that. Geolysis is meant to make things kind of complicated if you want mass amounts, but I don't really care all that much if it's anything beyond, you know, your relatively small quantities here. So I can go ahead and put away a good bit of this stuff here. Oh, that, dang it. See, I was trying to do that and that didn't go as planned. So we can clean up. There we go. So, sorry, you guys know I'm pretty OCD about my inventory being relatively clean. So, enchanting table, yes? Yes. So, where are we going to put this? I don't really know. We can probably just put it in this corner, to be honest. Just for now. If I put something up on the 3rd level, it's not going to reach. That's obviously a decent bit away. I don't really know what we should do here. Well, I do have an idea, though. If that was going to get me insight, we'll just make another bookshelf. That'll work. So, let's see. 6 planks. And let's grab our lapis. And we have our Akashic Tome here, now filled with experience to some degree. So that's going to take 30 levels. But, let's see. I was hoping that would work. Dang. See, I liked our insight enchant that we had earlier that only required like 20-something levels. 24, like, not really that many. So I'll probably go for this one for now, and that'll be okay. So we need to get ourselves up to level 24. Throw in some lapis, and this is going to get insight. Now there's a reason I want insight on a pick, and you'll see why. Insight, wow, awesome. That got us efficiency, insight, and fortune. Oh, wow. So you might be upset by Fortune 2, but I'm not. Fortune 2 actually means, get this, Fortune 3, because it's an iron handpick. So again, I'll refer you here to the Toolmaker's Guide. If we look over here at the handpick, it says handpicks can mine all the same blocks as a pickaxe, but they are slower and less durable than normal pickaxes. Due to their small size, however, you can be much more precise when mining ores, meaning that handpicks effectively have Fortune 1 enchantment built in. This bonus stacks with the Fortune enchantment. As weapons, handpicks are faster than pickaxes, but less damaging. Handpicks are made with a handpick head, blah, 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 blah. The sentence, handpicks effectively have a Fortune 1 enchantment built in. This bonus stacks with Fortune is the key there. We basically have Fortune 3, if I understand. Maybe it might be more like Fortune 2.5, because, you know, it takes 2 Fortune 1s to make a Fortune 2 and 2 Fortune 2s to make a Fortune 3. And if it already has Fortune 1, a Fortune 1 and a Fortune 2 don't make a Fortune 3. They make like 2.5. I don't know. I don't care. That's still really good considering how early on we are right now. So this also means that we have a super duper easy way of making ourselves a decent bit of experience in the future, because that's the problem. Is like at this point, if we wanted to get all the experience we had right now, we only have 25 levels. Not really a lot. So I think even though I made those extra bookshelves, I'm gonna leave these just how they are, because right now that's a decent amount of enchanting as it is. Like efficiency 3 is not terrible. That's gonna be, it might be worth doing that just to see where we can go from here, because again, we already have that. So let's see, efficiency 3 is all we got. Oh well. Insight would be nice, but I don't have enough levels now. So I am going to go mining probably some quartz. Not because I need quartz, just because I want experience. I might get redstone actually. There's a cinnabar deposit relatively nearby that might be worth my time. So might just go get that guy, start mining it up, because this is going to be a breeze now. Side note, I think it would be wise to keep a couple of pieces of iron with us at all time, and an anvil with us in our backpack. Just something that I realized would probably be a good idea. So I'm going to bring the mining backpack, and let's just go at it. I'll see you guys once I am done. Alright, so I'm back, and we have 37 levels. That's awesome. Lots of levels, and on top of that, tons, a decent bit of obsidian. I actually had to mine a lot of obsidian to get all the redstone that was there, but also a lot of redstone. That's pretty great. So I'm going to compact this into blocks just to make sure that we can save some space where possible. Whoops, I think I may have done just a little too much. I like having multiples of 64 for my blocks, or 32 rather. I don't know why, just the thing. And we have a ton of obsidian, like 55 now. That's a lot, or at least for us, for where we are. So, I think obviously if you look in here, it's pretty clear that the last thing that we're pretty short on as far as items in the early game level, of course diamonds and stuff are a different story, we're pretty low on coal. But I'm not too terribly worried about it right now. So let me finish cleaning up my inventory here, and I will be back in just a little bit. Alright guys, so I was thinking about some stuff that we can do, and looking at our current supply, we are not doing so hot on a couple of pretty common resources. Most specifically, we're not doing so great on cobblestone and smoothstone. So I thought we could use our power from last episode. Remember, we made the, I keep on getting mixed up in this house. We made the water wheel over there, and we have that power just sitting there idly right now. So why don't we actually go and use that a little bit? So I smelted up some stone at the end of last episode, if you'll recall. And there's no reason why I shouldn't go ahead and use that to make some stone bricks. We're also going to want to grab a couple of fences. I don't think we need all that many. And that'll get us a couple of wooden posts that we can use for our wires. So let's see, gets those 4 wooden posts. That's good enough for now. I'm going to leave these resources in here because I may need to come back for more later. I'm hoping I don't, but I might. So we are going to want to get our immersive stuff again. We're going to want to make another LV capacitor because we want one for the receiving end as well. Excuse me, as well. Goodness, that was out of nowhere. I just made a cup of coffee and I guess it was ready to surprise me. We need a piece of redstone, obviously no shortage there anymore, and we should have exactly 2 pieces of treated wood, so that actually was a perfect time to stop. So we have an LV capacitor now. This, like I said, for the receiving end of things. We're also going to want some flux ducts, which I'm slightly concerned that I'm not going to have enough lead for, but maybe, yeah, I have barely enough lead. I think I also somewhere had another piece, yeah, so I can technically make a little more, if I so desired. And we'll want a piece of glass. Do I have? I do have glass. Yay! So we don't need a whole lot of power, and we don't need it to go very far, so these leadstone flux ducts will suffice for now. But it is worth noting that in the future we might run short. So we can input our power basically anywhere, but I'm thinking if we coordinate down here, we can maybe figure something out that would be useful. Wow, words. We can put our furnaces here for now, and we could have our power input maybe here. So here's how this would work. We can get ourselves an engineer's hammer, get a couple of things going. So we would want our capacitor to be right here. We would want to set it to input on this side, yes. Nothing on the top, we don't care about the top right now. And output on the bottom. And when we output, we can actually output it to one of these flux ducts. There is some intercompatibility there. Not a lot, but some. And we can just literally leave this exactly as it is, wide open like this in the floor. But I do want to fill in the wall, of course. And we can do that, and there we go. So, of course, right now, LV capacitor has 0 power. That's expected. Let's fix that. So that's what everything else in my inventory is for. So if we go and... surely there's a better order I can place these things in. I'll need that first, then usually these. Did you see that? I think it was an Enderman, but that was still kind of nuts. So, input end. We'll start there. Just kidding. We'll start at the input over here, but I just wanted to bring up that as a thing. So we'll want to output on the top, right? Which is perfect. And we can... I think we should be smart about how we route things. So let me figure out where we need to be. Right here is our line inward. Right here would be the intersection. So we would want to have a turn like here-ish. I'm just going to put down that relay as a marker. I don't really care about where it actually ends up. So if we have this guy here, can it reach? I guess an easier way of doing this is by just taking our coils and walking until we can no longer reach. So it looks like as long as we are in a straight line, we can actually reach as far as here. And if that is the case, that's fantastic. Nope, I think it lied to me. Might take a couple of tries. You know, I'm not going to worry about it that much. So we can go ahead and just break those. You can use the engineer's hammer to break the guys pretty easily. And I think for now I'm going to just route along the left side, just for the time being. And then, like I said, we're going to want to make a turn here. So we can do, nope, not that, this. So if it was on the left, or on the right rather, right, but left, depending on which way you're looking. We can go ahead and route this guy over here, just like that. And we can go ahead and take our next cable and grab it and just run, thinking probably around here. And perfect. And so our last stretch shouldn't require another one. And if it does, that's a shame. Too far. That's annoying. Okay, well, I guess we can do it right here. And so this will give us power this way. Right? And this will give us power this way. So that's another thing worth noting is these hurt you now. Kind of a lot. Is this getting power? It is getting power. Yay! So I don't know why that one's not drawing. I'll try to link it again and maybe that'll update it. I don't know. It's odd. But yeah, so these hurt you to walk into now. That's both an inconvenience and also a logical change. So I may, for that reason alone, decide to change this up a little bit. I might do this. Just for the sake of not always having to run into them and get hurt by dumb things like I tend to. Because I feel like I'm just going to walk right into the side of this here. So we could actually do that and then this, and that will help prevent me from walking into it. Of course, I can still walk into that one if it was charged. Right now it's not, because we disconnected that original cable over there. Why don't we get ourselves another one of those posts, which means we need to get more of our creosote oil and make more treated wood. So let's go ahead and get that handled. We want to get a couple of these, and then that, and then this guy, and then this guy. There we go. And we can actually make 2 of these this time. Yay. Told you I'd need to come back for more. And so now that we have these extras, we can run over here and just add a little extra bit. So it's not really a huge deal to have to do the wiring this new way. I'm not at all opposed to it, honestly. It's just another step to consider that you'll probably want to be aware of. Because otherwise, you're not going to have a good time. Just like I'm not having a good time right now trying to get this to work. Come on, work. Why doesn't this side want to go? There we go. There are some render glitches with them still, but I can't complain. They're still really pretty. So, I like that. I like that it tells you which block is in the way. If you do F3 and A, you can reload, you can visually reload all your chunks nearby. Seems to be pretty required. Does that work? How is... Ugh. Why you gotta be like this? Alright, fine. We'll do it like this. There we go. That's a little better. So this leaves a lot less space that we can accidentally run into stuff. Just because it seems like it's very likely that I'm going to run into these wires at some point. As you can see, I've already accidentally run into them a couple of times. I did it on purpose once or twice, but, I mean, just me trying to turn off that other side and getting zapped was completely incidental. So this prevents the rate at which we're going to get smacked with electricity, but, I mean, definitely is probably still going to happen at least 4 times an episode. Maybe. So, now that we have power, we can make a couple of machines. I know, machines. Crazy, huh? Do we have any tin? We have a little bit of tin. Yay! Good. I thought I grabbed tin because I want to make igneous extruder. And I want to make an aqueous accumulator. So the igneous extruder recipe isn't really ridiculous. It's just some steel, which we already have. I want to make 2 of these, and that's going to mean 8 steel. We have 29, so we're doing great. I also want a copper gear. So we're going to need a copper gear. I need to make a gear cast in the first place. Actually, that's what I need to do. So let's look at our gear options. I can take this guy. I can take one of these guys, I know. How can I do this? I need to do this somehow. There's got to be a recipe that lets me do it. I hope I didn't overlook that. That's weird. I really would have expected that to work. Okay, how does this do? We might need to make a metal press. I'm surprised that there's not a gear cast recipe. You know what? That is an oversight on my own end. I'm going to see if I can make a recipe for it in Tinker's using, because I had expected that any of these gears could have been used, especially at least the wooden gear. So I'm going to make a quick exception to the rule. I don't normally just change recipes to make it so that I can obtain something, but this is one of those circumstances where an intended behavior was not there. So I'm going to fix that up real quick. I hope I can do this in Tinker's. I think there's a smeltery craft tweaker compat. Alright, so hopefully no one considers this cheating. I don't think it is, but I got the recipe added in, no problem at all. So there's a simple mod tweaker implementation for this, so you just call mods I don't remember. But I just got done doing it, so I added it for both aluminum brass and molten gold. So it uses 144 millibuckets. Oh, the molten gold uses twice as much? Okay, my bad. I thought it used the same amount, and I didn't add molten brass. Oops. Well, I'm going to use molten aluminum brass anyways, so it'll still be 144, which is what it's supposed to be. But next time I launch the pack, I'll fix it so that it's twice as much gold as what's currently used, and it also includes brass. My fault. Regardless, we use aluminum brass here, because it's just cheaper. So aluminum brass, and a wooden gear is just 4 sticks. Wow. Hardest recipe. So this makes it so that we can actually craft gears, and we wanted to do that for tin and copper anyways. So we can just toss this in here, turn this guy off, get everything ready. I forgot that I recycled some iron horse armor. And we want to do these at 2 separate times, so we will go ahead and toss in the tin first, but we obviously don't want to mix that yet. If we put the copper in, we'll get bronze. We don't want bronze. So we can make our cast here. And that can go back in, and we can go ahead and get our tin gear. Easy peasy. So I am definitely happy that that worked out the way I wanted it to. So there were a couple of mechanics that I had to kind of work around as well. Like, that's part of why we have the ceramics mod. I don't really care for using clay buckets in general, but early game there aren't other options, so I feel like it's only fair. We're going to want to power these guys. We're going to want a place to store the outputs from them as well. We're going to need a couple of things then. So we are going to want a storage drawer, probably, I'm thinking. And I don't remember, is it like this? I think it's like this. Yeah, hey, look at that. This will get us a 1x2, which means that it can store 2 items in one it's 1x2. I'm stumbling over my words today, so it's just easier to explain it like that. Let's see, we actually don't need any of this stuff anymore. We have finished up most of those things. The drawer can go back in here with that and that. I don't need this extra iron yet. We're probably going to need it here in a minute. So that can get us focused back on what we needed. We need 2 iron gears and 4 copper gears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to need 16 and 8. See why the gear thing kind of gets not tedious per se, but definitely notable. Oh, okay, cool. We need Invar. This is exciting. I know you might be like, why are you excited? It's Invar. You don't have Invar. What are you going to do about it? This is what I'm going to do about it. I am going to make kiln bricks. There's a thing in immersive engineering called a kiln, and it uses, I hope it just uses sandstone. Okay, it uses sandstone and bricks. And the reason I'm excited is because I always forget this thing exists, and then I'm like, oh, I could have used that. And I never do. So it doesn't actually, it's not a very big multi-block. It's just a 2x2 multi-block. So we are going to need 8 of these, which means that we're going to need 8 bricks, right? And then we're going to need 8 sandstone and then 8 bricks. Easy peasy. So we can go ahead and grab this, and I'll even make the crafting or the smelting process a little quicker by splitting it up between my furnaces. So very exciting, though, that we can kind of go through and do some of these advanced type items that we haven't had a chance to do yet. I'm just going to turn this guy on and let that go. And we can put these guys in here. I think my next step is to soon get ourselves a better furnace as well, but we'll see. Not terribly high on my list of priorities right now, to be real. So we'll go ahead and turn all this stuff into a whole bunch of gears, because why not? We're going to need them anyways. In the meantime, I can actually get started on a couple of other things. So we can work on some other components to these recipes. We can go ahead and get, we're going to need a servo, a bucket, a couple of other things. Finally got rid of all those wild berries, for now. So, we want 2 of those redstone reception coils. So the reception coil indicates that the machine receives power, hence reception, receive. Transmission coils imply that they transmit power. Then there's another coil that I can't remember off the top of my head, and it implies nothing really at all because the name doesn't make sense. So we wanted to get one of those. Okay, cool. And this guy is just going to be tin with a copper gear, which I can totally handle. Probably going to run out of glass, to be honest. Might go and smelt up some more glass. We are definitely going to run out of glass, because there's no way to turn this back into it, is there? Unless I melt it. If I melt it and then recast it, I could do that. But we want to make sure that we put a multiple of 6 in there, because knowing Tinkers, it's probably balanced. So we can do that, and that will reclaim a lot of glass for us. That's actually really neat. Now, if I take this and melt it into glass, it can't be casted any other way, can it? No. Okay. I'm just making sure that if I put all this glass in here and it all, like, gets molten, I don't want it to get messed up. So that gets us a whole bunch of gears. We're going to need one of these guys. I need another bucket. Gonna need to start smelting up sand. I forgot any sort of fuel supply. Whoops. Yeah, fuel is important. We'll just do this. That works. And so we can get this cooking, and we can get our alloy kiln put together. I don't know where we're gonna put the kiln. I don't, because it's a 2x2, and this is right outside. So as nice as it would be to keep it in here, I just don't see it feasible unless I put it like back here. But then, like, that's just maybe, I don't know. Just feels like an odd place to put it. And then it would still stick out, but I could cover it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know that I like that. We'll see. I'll figure something out, I think, maybe. So we can go ahead and get those kiln bricks though. And like I said, so it's just a 2x2. And we want to look into this guy. What am I missing at this point? Just this? Well, why don't you take that then? Oh, and now I'm missing glass. See, I told you I need more glass. Alright, so this gets us an aqueous accumulator, which will produce water if we supply it with water. We have to kind of... It's funny, you have to give it water to get water, but not really in the sense that you might imagine. In Minecraft, of course, you can make an infinite water pool with 2 sources of water. This allows you to do exactly that, except it automatically gets sucked up for you. So, very useful in situations where you might need a water source. Like right now. We need a water source. We also actually need something else that I just remembered. We need to get some copper. A little more glass. We want to make more of those fluid ducts. They're not that difficult to make. Boom. I'll grab what I've already got just in case I end up needing more. They're in here. Yep. Cool stuff. So, the fluid duct will need to go, or the aqueous accumulator will need to go... that's not nice. I might need to make one other thing. Why don't we look into making a structural duct? I think I have what I need for that. So a structural duct is really neat because you can use it to make covers for these different ducts. And unfortunately, it's going to use one of our last couple of pieces of lead. But that's okay, I need to get on that lead game anyways. So this will allow us to cover up any spaces that we need to have a pipe or something instead. So if I wanted to have a pipe right here, which... guess what? I do. Then I would need... We can go ahead and set down our infinite spring of water, just like this. Put our aqueous accumulator down. And it is going to start making water for us. But then, of course, I'm probably going to want the water to go somewhere. Probably into the side of a machine. Well, it can't be... It can't be like this. It has to be a different way. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course it can't be like that. Let's move it. Maybe here? so that it can go like this, and then we can have the water here and here. And again, water being formed, outputting, boom, good to go. And this is going to look bad right now, because if I fill this hole in, we still have that one space right there. So we can actually cover it using these guys. So we can cover it on, I like to cover things on as many sides as I possibly can, just because it makes more sense that way. Piss off, dude. And yeah, so there we go. Now it's completely covered, and if I put a machine adjacent to it, it won't care. Now remember I said these guys needed invar, so let's handle that. Did they need anything else? Let me just go ahead and get this recipe laid out a little bit, because I'm starting to lose track of who needs what, where. Was that? Steel, that's right. I need to get steel. And I think that might actually be most of our problems already taken care of. Aside from the fact that we need invar and a few other things. Let's get some coal as well. We'll just do tiny coal. So we want to get ourselves a machine frame. That's 2 of those. And we want to put this kiln together. So the kiln is... I'm trying to think, because see, 2x2 is just a weird shape anyways. That's kind of the struggle. I guess I can put it back here and just cover it. Kind of makes sense for everything to go together like that anyways. So there we go. There's our kiln. And it is going to take fuel and then a couple of other things. So if we're making invar, then we need a 2-to-1 ratio, so we want for every 1 nickel we want 2 iron. So we can go ahead and put this in the kiln, and it'll take a little bit of time, but it'll go ahead and cook everything up for us. So with our invar, I think we actually have everything to make 2 igneous extruders, except, haha, there's one thing we do need, but that's not really a huge issue. We need lava. We have some here, but I'm just going to go get some more. And in fact, I might just get a whole lot more. So, we can start with putting down our 2 machines. These like a... No, get back on my back. Like I said, these take power, but we have power. You can also configure these to create different blocks. So we have cobblestone, smooth stone, obsidian, and the 3 different kinds of stones from vanilla Minecraft. So we can set this guy to smooth stone and tell it to input in the back and extract on or output on the left. We can tell this guy it doesn't actually need to output or input anywhere, just output on the right. And then if we put our drawer right here in the middle, we can get cobblestone on one side, smooth stone on the other. And that way the experience is more or less shared. So I can go ahead and convert this to smooth stone. Whoops. And so right now we're not producing squat because we don't have lava in either one of these. So to produce stone, this guy is going to continuously use a bucket of water and then lava. So you see this guy uses, you see the JEI plugin for this is kind of unclear, so I'll explain it really briefly because it's a little more clear that way. You have lava and water that show up here, which means that you have to have both. But then if you hover over the tooltip, it shows you how much is consumed per craft. So 0 lava is consumed, but 1 bucket of water is consumed, hence why we have the aqueous accumulator. Cobblestone, on the other hand, 0 and 0, because you can make cobblestone for free with just a single lava source. So that being said, I'm going to clean up my inventory, get some lava, probably in a portable tank, and skedaddle back this way again, because, gosh, we need lava so often. Actually, before we go, why don't I make a reservoir? This thing is pretty straightforward to make and would be very useful for us. So we're going to need 2 pieces of copper, a piece of tin, and a random whole bunch of other things. We needed the servo, and we needed another bucket. So we can go ahead and get that done pretty quickly, actually. That recipe is not that difficult. So we'll have another bucket, we'll have a servo, and we'll have this. So this guy acts like a combination of a portable tank and a bucket all in one. So it stores and transfers fluid, and it can refill equipment, but you can use it to either fill or empty. So right now it's filling. So if I right-click on a fluid source, it'll pick it up and put it into here. And if I put it in empty mode, it would then place it down or put it into a tank or anything of that sort. So in essence, it's kind of one of those utility type things that'll be really useful for us later down the road. So I'm going to clean up my inventory and put some stuff away, go out and get that lava like I had mentioned, now that I have this already set up, which will make this very easy to get a whole heck ton of lava. So I'll be back in just a bit. So I was coming down here to get some lava because this is where I got my cinnabar from, and I had covered it up, right? But I left it completely hollow the rest of the way down. I messed up, and I was like, it might be in this general area, because I was using the chunk grid to kind of figure out about where the center was, to hopefully dig close enough to find this. Well, I dug below myself, and I happened to land right on top of it. So this is why you use ladders, kids. Alright, that's better. Cool. Well, like I said, lava. Gonna get some. I should probably make some better boots, too. But there's my lava. So, yep. I'll be back when I have a full guy here. It's worth noting, fortunately, I didn't lose hardly any experience. I think I may have had a full bar of experience, but not even a whole level when I died. So, definitely worth having that lexicon, or tome. Sorry, not lexicon. That's the other thing from that mod. So, I picked up plenty of lava. Should be in good shape basically forever now. So we can give you a bucket, and give you a bucket, and you're going to see this guy is going to produce a piece of stone every now and then. So if we watch this guy, we're going to get cobblestone and smooth stone, just forever. So I could definitely put an upgrade on this drawer so that it threw away any extras, but if I did that, then this guy would just keep running and using my power forever, whereas ideally it would just shut off automatically once it got a little bit too full. So I'm probably just going to leave it the way it is, because I don't see any point in being too super picky, and I think this will be really good for getting us stone in the future, especially because this area is chunk loaded, so I mean, if we go out mining and come back, we'll have stuff waiting for us, which is always fun. So there's our first bit of automation for the series. Like, well, machine automation. I don't count the Tinker Smeltery as, like, advanced machine automation, because it's not an advanced machine, it's just a smeltery. So I'm going to go pick up a little bit more coal so that we can make sure that we can process some stuff. I might also take some time to process or pick up some limonite so that we can get some more iron, because we're already running kind of low. So just going to go pick up a couple more resources that we need mined, and I will be back later. Actually, one thing that I just remembered is that a lot of these are kind of in some slippery situations as far as how far we have to fall and stuff. And it'd be easier to get around if we had one of these anyways, so why don't we make ourselves a pair of slime boots and a slime sling, if we can afford the slime sling. I don't know that we can. We can definitely afford the slime boots. Now, I'm going to go with the blue ones. The blue ones definitely provide more, like, spec boost. And the slime sling is too expensive. I don't have that much stuff. Crud. Oh well. I can at least walk with my own 2 feet. So the slime sling is pretty fun, though. I'm gonna bring this stuff with me. I'd like to get a little bit more slime if possible. And I'm gonna put my boots in here in case I get into a scuffle. Plus, I don't like the slime boots for long-term wear. Like, the bounciness is fun, but only for a minute. And then, like, when you're around the house, it's actually really annoying. So the slime boots are pretty temporary, mostly for traveling. But still something that I thought I would discuss on camera. Prevents falls like this from being terrible. And actually, as I was running over here, I realized that the episode is already getting pretty long, so I am going to call it there. Like I said, just going to pick up some resources. It's not like I'm going to be doing anything particularly amazing anyways. So I hope you guys enjoyed yet another episode of this. I am really addicted to this series, so I definitely am having a huge blast with this. It's just the right level of difficulty to keep me interested. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. I'm excited. Hopefully you are too. Later.